Circle. What's going on, people? What's happening? It's your man JB with you once again, and it's the Mind Your Business podcast. Today, we have a special guest. I mean, we always have special guests, but today we have another special guest. He goes by the name of Chris Giles. He is Black Tie Media, I believe. You know what? I think I just realized what Black Tie Media really means. I was messing around. I'm still trying to learn this eCam thing, and I called myself I was going to do a text box, but that didn't work. But anyway, I'm doing a text, and I typed in your name, and then I put in Black Tie Media. Go ahead and explain that. See if I'm right.
Hey, for sure, bro. It's I'm half black, half Thai. So the whole point of it was, being yourself, whoever you are, bring that to the table. You know what I mean?
Yes, if I had the horn sound right now, I'd hit that horn sound because I was correct. If I had money on the table, I would have won, man. So that's what it
Hey,
is. Do me a favor, man, and just
yep.
kind of introduce yourself and let people know exactly, who you are and what you do, man.
Yeah, for sure. What's going on, everybody? I'm Chris, aka DJ Mastermind. In some of the streets, you'll hear that, but honestly, currently, man, full time creator. So I create content around live streaming, teaching other people how to live stream. I started out honestly as a DJ, audio engineer on the road. 2020 kind of happened, and so it was like, let me take all that skill and get back in the studio and do some gaming, do some fun stuff. And so started on this journey, and honestly, now just opened up a new department in Black Tie Media where we handling talent management, man. So getting them brand deals and getting them connected. So that's me. That's who I am.
And so I bumped into him on Clubhouse through through some other mutual. It's crazy, man. But so bumped into him. We just kind of going back and forth, and so he's doing a lot of things. You kind of touched on how you got into it. You were doing the DJ thing, and then COVID hit, and you kind of, all right, let me kind of figure some things out. Um, but prior to that, how has your journey been when it comes to the whole entrepreneurship and just kind of getting into that?
Man, bro. Honestly, I love looking back at that because honestly, from the beginning, man, teenager in high school, middle school, man, I was up in there selling candy, doing that kind of stuff. So I
Mm-hmm.
always knew I wanted that. Growing up, man, with like Diddy and man, Jay Z, all them, because I was
Mm-hmm.
just heavy into music. So that whole hip hop scene, it was just like, well, I want to own my own. They own
Right.
their own. I
Right.
need,
Right.
I need that too. And so honestly, fresh out of high school, I jumped in straight into DJing. And I got my dad to loan me some money. Went up to Guitar Center, bought some speakers and some CD players.
Mm.
Was like, all right, let's do it. Funny story. My wife was actually the first one to actually give me a shot, and we threw a party. Man, shut it down, and it's history ever since, man.
And y'all got married after that, huh?
Yep, yep,
Man,
yep.
man, you must listen. That show must have been something serious, man. You got your wife
Hey,
and all that picked up, got paid, and got married, man. Listen, man. That's
hey.
something right there, man. And so you do a whole lot of tech and streaming and all kind of stuff because you also do, if I'm correct, you do media as well for a church as well.
Oh man, so before I moved to Charlotte, man, I was heavy in the church game. So church back in Virginia. I did some churches up in Maryland, and I'm talking I mean, kind of the newer style of church, I say, more contemporary style.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking, 1,000 people in a room, music blaring, kind of that rock contemporary,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
style music. But that's like the passion. The music has always been the passion. And so again, once I got back heavy in the church and I found something that I can really get into, I spent a lot of time in that space. And honestly, that's what opened the door for me to get into the live event production for real.
Mm-hmm.
I got with a church that was willing to teach me. So I was like, well, I'll be here every Sunday. I'll be here whatever days you need me here. I'm here so I can learn this.
Mm-hmm.
And then it ended up turning into, actually turning into a career. And so what I've been doing that, I mean, going on 7 years now, on the live event space.
And so and I think a lot of times people think that it's all about money. It's all about money, and if a job ain't paying me such and such, and I get it. You got bills, you got family, and things of that nature. But a lot of times, when it comes to being able to get into a space to where you're able to learn, like the whole mentoring and whether you want to call that, apprentice or interning or whatever. but
Yeah.
having the opportunity to get into something to where you can learn it, and then you can take that everything that you learn, you can take it and then go do something else with it. To me, I think that's kind of a major thing as well too. So, you know, I applaud you for even taking that leap, man, because I'm sure you probably was like, man, you gonna go do what? You ain't how much they? Nah, bro, come on.
Bro, I mean, it's I don't know. It's one of those things, man. It's just been in the blood. Like, I mean, I've had jobs. Like, let's not say that, but I'm talking. My longest job in my whole life, honestly, was working at Wendy's because I was a teenager. So that was the only place I could work for 3, 4 years,
Yeah.
bro. After that, it was just like nothing felt that itch. You know what I mean? It was
Mm-hmm.
just the fact that you got to answer to somebody and all that. And again, it's for some people. It just
Mm-hmm.
wasn't for me. And so not down in that life at all. But for me, I needed the freedom to just wake up and do what I wanted to do.
Mm-hmm.
And man, I'll put 80 hours into this thing.
Yeah, for sure. Well, look, so let me find out. We're gonna get into this thing. You, I kind of ran into you, like I said, we were on Clubhouse, and then
Mhm.
you were teaching class, a class on, I think it was the Amazon influencers program or something like that, and
Oh, was that the
uh,
first? That was the first time we met
I
that
think th-
time?
I think that was the first time that, and I caught the end of it, and I was mad. I was like, man. I said, you know what? Let me hit him so that I can find out some more information about that. And so, if you can just give a little information about the Amazon, the influencers program, and how that works. We don't want to give them too much, but just enough to get them interested. How,
Give him a
like
little,
just a
give him a
little.
little taste.
Yeah. We'll give them a little taste about that.
Hey, for sure. So, man, what a lot of people haven't heard, Amazon, just like the Facebooks and the YouTubes and all that, Amazon has a live program now where if you're an influencer, you have the ability to actually live stream on their platform. And what I try to explain, people think of it like HSN or QVC, but it's on Amazon. And Amazon sells everything. If you don't know, Amazon literally sells everything.
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
talking, they sell caskets and washers and dryers.
Mm,
So,
that's
so
everything.
like everything, man. And so the ability to be able to be in that market and then just sell, talk about, and again, for me, I talk about everything that I have, the gear that I have, live streaming stuff, the stuff that I know. And then I get a commission off of everything that you buy from the Amazon link when you're watching me live. The second piece of that, though, is, I try to tell people is because they go, you look at the Amazon creator pro for anybody that's a creator already, if you're doing like the affiliate through Amazon, you kind of like, man, that percentage isn't a lot though. And so what I tell you is you do it for the brand deals. You don't do it for the you don't do it
Hmm.
for that commission.
Hmm.
You do it for the companies that's going to pay you more to talk about their product on Amazon Live.
And what exactly? And for those that may, what is a brand deal?
Oh man, brand and that's what you said that was actually the class that we were talking about. Is
Hmm.
we were specifically talking about brand deals, but a brand deal is honestly, I mean, like we're on this show right now. This show can be paid for by somebody else, somebody that wants to get into your audience, right?
Hmm.
They're like, hey, I whoever you're talking to, whether it's, and you kind of even break it down, right? Um, Men between the age of 24 and 45. And again, we're talking business, right? So now there's going to be some software that businesses use. You go to that company and go, hey, um, pay me and I'll promote your product on my show, or I'll promote it in videos that I do or on my social media. And that's the brand deal, directly going to them and getting them to pay you to talk about their product or service.
And then how did you, and how did you find out about that?
It's one of those things, man. It's one of those things that when you look back, you actually realize it's been going on since we were kids. You don't even
Hmm.
notice, right?
Right.
But for me, it was getting into this space and actually going, hey, all these people are creating content. They're on YouTube and they're on all these places, but how do they get paid?
Hmm.
Because some of these people, this is all they do. And so once I started just diving deep into that and realizing like that's how they get paid. They're getting the brands. But I mean, look, think back to when we used to watch commercials and
Right.
look, I'm trying to think of a good one, get the Coke commercial on there with the girls, or oh, Stevie Wonder, when Stevie Wonder and Pepsi, like that's a
Hmm.
brand deal.
Hmm.
Stevie Wonder getting paid a lot of money
Hmm.
to talk about
Yes.
Pepsi, right?
Yeah. And I think a lot of times people felt as though you almost had to be a celebrity. And maybe at
Mhm,
one time it was. Maybe at one time you almost had to be a
mhm.
celebrity and had the notoriety and fame and things of that nature. But now, um, the playing field is kind of is evening itself out, to
Oh man.
where people like yourself, people like myself, have the opportunity to get out here and at the end of the day, make some money, uh,
Absolutely.
and make money, and then on top of that, get some free stuff.
Yeah.
Because I think a couple of times, man, I crossed over on your Instagram page, and
Yeah.
I think I saw a room full of just free stuff that I think you said some people sent you.
Oh, bro. All kinds of stuff. This microphone I'm using now, this is one of the companies that's sponsored by me. The name Mayono.
Hmm.
Probably never heard of them, but guess what? They send a check, so I'm cool with it. It works. Y'all can hear me, right? Like it sound good.
Hmm.
Like
Hmm. Yeah.
so I mean, mics from them. I got some the speakers I use in one of my setups. I got for free just to check them out. Man, it's crazy. And again, when you start out, free stuff is good, right?
Hmm.
Money's
Real
better.
good. Yeah, yeah. Free stuff is good, but then that
Money's
money is yeah, that money helps out a lot.
yeah.
So once again, you guys that are just tuning in, it's the Mind Your Business podcast, and we just having a conversation. We talking with DJ Mastermind, and we're trying to pick his brain, and he's going to allow us to pick his brain, and not a whole lot, but just enough to where you may want to reach out to him later to get some information from him. And I'm all about being able to. One, I want to help those. I want to help people that are that are business owners, entrepreneurs. I want to be, and then I want to be able to establish these networks and these resources. Because I get a lot of people that try to pick my brain,
Yeah.
and it's fine. I just ain't got a whole lot I can give you in certain things. What I mean? But when I can run across people um, that may have more information than I do in certain subjects, then in
Yeah.
turn, I want to be able to send people, hey, I know this guy. He's a good dude. Go reach out to him. And we were talking earlier because
Mhm.
even for me, I'm still learning the whole podcast space, and now we're on a new platform called Ecamm. I was using something prior to that, and for me, it's a learning curve. I'm still trying to tweak and learn and figure some things out. I got this roadcast. I'm trying to learn this stuff as we go.
Yeah.
So, and I'm disclaimer: if something happens during the show, I just want you to go. Listen, I'm learning, but you see my hands. You see where my hands are. So I'm not pushing any buttons. There's a lot of things that you can do with this new platform. But
Yeah.
because I'm not there yet, give me a couple of weeks. Give me about a month. You know,
Yeah.
I got a call I'm gonna make, and I'm gonna get into this. I'm gonna go into a boot camp.
Nice.
Understand, the boot camp is with DJ Mastermind. So we can get into this boot camp so that I can learn all of those things that I'm doing here and all of this because the platform it's an amazing platform.
Oh yeah.
But it's just learning it and utilizing all of the tools and all the bells and whistles that it has. So I'm going to get there, but we've already had that conversation. So look, man, you're also in a clubhouse. Well, I'm sure you're in a bunch of rooms, but I know there's one room in particular that you're in, and I guess it's more of a networking room, and it's hosted by one of the cats that we know, Glenn Brooks.
Yeah.
I call him Coach. Some people call him
Yeah.
OG.
Yep.
We working on getting him on here as well. But talk about that room as well and what you do and kind of how that happened.
Yeah, for sure, man. That's funny. Coach, yeah, yeah. OG for real. Look, if you being proper Glenn P. Brooks
Yeah,
Jr.,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
So man, it's funny. I actually met him through a guy of mine. He's actually my coach, Monty Weaver. He's one of the in the Amazon Live group we run. He's actually the brains behind getting that started.
Mm,
And I know him since forever, and we got kind of reconnected. That's how I got into Amazon Live. And Glenn was his coach.
mm,
And so they're in community together. And so when Clubhouse jumped off, Monty invited me on, Monty invited Coach on. And so we kind of jumped in and I just showed up. Like I'm that guy. I just show up. I don't have to know you.
mm,
Like I'm just jumping in the room. And honestly, it's funny. We didn't even know each other. We knew of each other.
right.
But what happened was every time he went, I was there.
Mm,
And so he was like, man, this guy riding with me. He don't even really know me. Like he got to be on the team. And so honestly, it just kind of developed into that where it was just like, hey, I'm here with you. Let's go. What time? 7 a.m. every morning, Monday through Friday. Let's go.
Mm,
I'm there every time. And then it was like, huh, well, you do the tech stuff. What can we do? I mean, we can add music. We can do the sound effects.
mm.
We just a couple weeks ago, we just launched take it back, it's probably about a month ago, because that's when we kind of met on the on what is it, the Teach Me Tuesdays that we do,
Right, right.
where we're helping business out. And so he was like, let's start recording them because people are missing it. Some
Mm,
people can't come every day, so let's start recording it. We just launched where we're going to be we're recording on Wednesdays, and that's actually going to be his podcast. And so it just kind of grew into this thing, and it's almost a morning show feel, right? If you remember being younger and actually listening to the radio on the way
yeah,
to school, like
yeah,
it's
yeah.
that feel. But it's bootstrapping business and ministry club, and it's
Mm,
all about helping the entrepreneur, you're new to business or you're new to ministry, and how to get through those kind of hardships. So
mhm.
come check it out again, 7 a.m.
7 a.m. Clubhouse. I will make sure to get you guys the information on how you can. You got to be up, and you got to have Apple. You got to have iPhone. Or do they
Oh
have?
no, they switched up. They opened
Oh,
it
so
up
they
now.
Android now.
Yeah, they let the androids in, man.
So they let them in. Yeah. No wonder people stop hopping off. No wonder people. But I ain't gonna do that. So even with that, man, like you wear a lot of hats.
Yeah.
How are you able to balance with all the hats you have
Hmm.
outside of even business and entrepreneurship? Your
Yeah,
husband,
man.
your father. How do you balance all of those things?
Man, it's rhythms. I feel like it's one of those misnomers, right? To be like, oh, your work life balance. It's no balance. It's a rhythm. I gotta especially like I said, during this season, I'm not on the road as much, so
Mm,
well, I say as much. I'm not really on the road during the season. It's gonna start picking back up soon, but it's the since I'm home, I'm making sure that it's a priority. When I'm home, the family's a priority. When I'm in business mode, my wife, like I said, she know me since I started it. She know me since high school. So when she knew that I was chasing something bigger than me anyway,
mm,
and she's co-signed for it. And so a lot of it's just communication, man. Communicating, making sure that they know, my kids, they roll with me. They used to come with me when I did 5 a.m. church services. When I'm up in
mm.
there 5 a.m., they used to ride with me week after week. And so it was making them the priority and showing them what it is that I'm doing and what it is that I'm building. Um, and honestly, that makes it all the easier in a sense. And again, easy is relative, right?
Mhm.
But it makes it easier, so I don't have to have the arguments about, oh, why you gone so much and all
Right,
that,
right.
because I put the priority. When I'm here, I'm here.
Mhm. And that's one of the things. Like even some of the conversations we've had with other business owners, entrepreneurs, creatives. The relationships,
Yeah,
because some are single, some are married. Some of the young ladies that were single, that was kind of one of the things that they were kind of dealing with was, them trying to prioritize. Some of the men that we've had conversation with that are married, that was also one of the things is prioritizing, being present, and then the balance of it all. Because ultimately, the show, what we're trying to do is we don't want to see anybody lose their relationship over trying to start a business.
yeah,
We don't want to see anybody lose their homes, their cars, their shirts, their families, or whatever because they're trying to start a business.
yep,
And we want to have people on that can have those conversations and kind of let them know either because they've been through it, they're going through it, or it's something that they've overcome, and so that way they can kind of, these next generation of entrepreneurs and creatives, they can kind of tell them, hey man, this is what you need to do. This is how you need to have the role, man.
yep,
You got to do it this way or do it this way because if not, this is what's going to happen.
yeah,
We've seen it firsthand, and so we're just trying to give the tools, man, to the people before they jump out here and get into something and have a hard time getting themselves out of it.
yeah,
And
man.
so for you, you like you said, you married, have kids, and you're able to balance it, and like you said, the rhythm.
Hmm.
But even that, I know your wife knew off top, but what did that look like even at the beginning stages and as it went on?
Yeah, for sure, man. And that's one of those things, right? Yeah, she knew off top, but in the very, very beginning, it still was like, well, what does this look like?
Mm,
And when it got to I mean, again, the beginning of it was me DJing. It wasn't even me like on the road with the audio and stuff.
mm.
And it was like Fridays and Saturdays, I'm gone.
Right,
I'm
right,
doing
right.
weddings on Saturdays, Friday nights, Saturday nights. I'm at the bar doing, music.
Mm,
And so it's, one of that, again, the communication piece, because you gotta talk through those, what's going on while you're out.
mm.
What are you representing while you're out? Because, the questions are always going to come up because
Right.
you're in a certain, you're in a certain
Mm,
atmosphere in that space. And so it took time to build that trust. And look, I'm out here for this money.
mm. Yeah, yeah,
And it hit. And one day it hit, and she was like, "This dude about that money. He don't." We joke around here because we'll watch. You'll watch somebody, one of these like big name artists, right? And
hmm
they're doing it, and they're scantily clad outfits and all that. And she jokes now, and she'll look. She'll be like, "What kind of microphone they using?" Because I know you ain't even looking at you over there. You looking at the gear behind them. And so, yeah,
Yeah, and that's the thing, man. Just learning and understanding that it's communication.
mhm,
Uh,
big
being
time.
able to have that communication to make sure that everybody knows and everybody understands. Hey, look, I'm trying to build something for us, and that's what this is all about. It ain't about me because I want to be in the club.
Yeah,
It ain't because but I'm trying to build something and have something for my kids besides bills when I leave.
true.
You know what I mean? And I think with that, and like you said, as long as that understanding is there, the conversation is there, it just makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
So even with that, let's kind of talk, and we'll talk some more about where do you see yourself probably in the next, would you say 5 years?
Yeah. Man, 5 years, that's so hard, man. I feel like it changes every 6 months. But, honestly, the goal right now is and kinda the long-term goal has always been, and there's been again, there's been pivots, and stuff happens, and again, 2020, so I wasn't on the road for a year and a half,
Mm,
right? Um, Honestly, Black Tie Media, man, it's the media company that we're working on. It's about the content. That's why this is important, having, these kind of conversations, because being able to be on a video podcast, right? And spread that information, and then you're pushing content. And so that's why like this whole kind of creator economy is so big to me.
mm,
And so that's a piece of it. I told you I kind of stepped into this kind of talent management, brand management
mm,
space where I'm helping other. And again, this is the specific, right? I'm not helping large creators. I'm helping nano and micro influencers make money.
mm,
And so that's super important to me because they're the moms that just maybe they can't work, but they got a few hours in a day, so they can kind of do the influencer thing. And I show them, look, this is how we get money.
mm, mm,
There's the people that are in, dead end careers that they're just like tired of it, and they have a passion for this other thing. And so they started creating content. And I can show them, hey, this is how you can get money. This is how you can make a lifestyle and a career out of this.
mm.
You don't have to be a millionaire to do it, right? But I'm sure if I can get you 6 figures,
Oh,
I'm
listen,
sure if we can get you 70, 80 grand, you know what I mean?
bruh, understand, man. Do you know how many people will be lining up at your door right now?
Bro,
Matter of
bro.
fact, I'm waiting. I'm looking at the comment section. I already know
Yeah.
somebody is going to be sending me some comments. I'm going to get a text message, something, because you talking figures.
Hey.
And really and honestly, I know in this day and age, because the way the economy is,
Yeah.
uh, people are always looking for another avenue,
Yeah.
or another opportunity, to be able to just make some income. Some of the people that I've talked to, those additional streams of income.
Yeah.
Everybody's looking on how to create those additional streams,
Yeah.
and if somebody like yourself is able to teach them, and kind of show them, hey, you know, uh, come to my class, let's do this boot camp, let's whatever, whatever,
Yeah.
then that can definitely help out a lot, man. So, and so, what is on average on your day? What does your day
Mhm.
look like? When I say what does your day look like? Because we already know it's 7 o'clock, man. You on Clubhouse.
Yeah, man. Man, the news this is gonna sound crazy, East Coast time. Honestly, the day right now is, man, 5 a.m. I'm up. I'm
Mm,
hitting the word, getting ready. 5:30, I'm in the gym. Got the now my daughter, when my son was here, we was in the gym 5:30 every morning for about 45 to an hour. And then getting ready for Clubhouse. Get that hot tea, get on Clubhouse for about an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then on to the day. Man, honestly, over the past month or so, since I kind of launched the whole new talent and brand management side,
mm,
man, that's just been call after call. We just been kind of on the phone going through, new contracts, bringing in new clients and new partners, and honestly, and then out there looking for the money for them. And so that's been kind of the bulk of what we've been doing
mm,
lately,
mm,
trying to ramp it up. Get people in place so it's a system. Get this well-oiled machine.
mm. And then what is it like? How important? Because you hear it a lot. How
Hmm.
important is it building a network? How important is it community? How important is it to um, relationships?
Oh,
Building
bro.
relationships. How important would you say on a scale from 1 to 10?
Yeah.
How important do you think that is?
Oh man, it's 11.
Mm,
It's an 11 all day. I mean, we wouldn't be having this conversation if it wasn't networks, right?
right, right, right.
If we wasn't, I'm trying to think, man. I mean, look, me like the fact that I was even in that room. We went over that
Right.
story.
Yeah,
If I didn't have the network,
yeah.
and so I mean, look, the deal I'm working on now, the company that I'm working with, is an online TV network,
Mm,
right? And so they're available on, Apple and Android and kind of all the places right there and all the apps, Roku, all that, right? I met the owner of that network through a lady that I met on Clubhouse that
mm,
was entering a program on Clubhouse to be a creator on Clubhouse. And she just announced it, met Glenn, same thing. I hit her, I said, "Hey, what you need? I got you." And she was like, "For real, like you do the music and all this stuff here. Like what?" I'm like, "I'll do it for you. Let's do this show." That's how so we did that. We did this bomb show. She didn't get picked up by Clubhouse, but guess what? Now we got a relationship because I did something for her for free.
mm, mm,
I gave her what I do, and I didn't, half it. I did what I do, and so now through her, I met the lady at the network. Now I'm over here with the network, working with, I want to say they got about 40 or 50 creators
mm,
on their network, and so going through there. Now I got all these creators. I can't even bring anybody else in on the back on from anywhere
mm.
else right now
Right,
because I'm just working with her for now.
right, right.
So yeah, that network, man. Your network is your net worth. That's what they say.
Mm. And that's good, man, because I think a lot of times people don't really understand, and they don't. Even me. I'll be honest with you. I haven't always been the guy that wants to go out here and meet and talk to people. I've never really been that dude.
Yeah.
I, I have trust issues. I'm just I'm put it out there.
Yeah.
Like
Be
I don't,
100. Yeah.
I don't trust a whole lot of people. I know a lot of people,
Yeah.
but even with me knowing a lot of people, I don't really have a lot of relationships.
Mm,
And
gotcha.
but I'm an old guy, but I'm learning that hey, you can't do it by yourself.
Yeah.
You've got to at some point in your life, you've got to reach out
Mhm.
and have a conversation. You've got to go to these rooms, uh, and at the end of the day, it's two things that can happen.
Yep.
Either somebody can say yes, or they can say no.
Yep.
And neither one of those things are going to kill you.
Mhm.
But it's just getting to the place to where even now, even when I reach out to people to come be on the show.
Yeah.
So understand, I've got a lot of yeses,
Yep.
but then I've also got a lot of nos.
Right.
And at the end of the day, the people that said no, they just said no. But the show was still going on.
Yep.
But it's still about, you know, getting to the point to understand that what the network is about, what relationships are about,
Yep.
and being able to get out and kind of take that step.
Yeah.
Okay, look, I've gotta, and it's so easy to do, especially when you're at your own spot in your own space with a bike in
Yeah.
front of you. You know
Yep.
what I mean? Like you don't really have to get out there and go meet people,
Exactly.
but you still have to work on building relationships, just to survive, man. Because you can't do it by yourself.
Mm,
You
not
know,
at all, bro.
you can't. Even if you have all
Hmm.
the information, you could be the smartest cat in the you could be the smartest cat in the room,
Yeah.
but you still have to be able to work and build those relationships in order to just kind of see things move, man. Um,
Yeah.
so brand management,
Hmm.
producer,
Yep.
gamer.
Yeah.
Uh, what are you playing? What games you playing?
Yeah, it's funny, man. Honestly, main game right now is still Fortnite, man. That's what I play. That's I get it on with the kids, and so
Mm,
it's good because it's the teamwork, and so for a minute I was getting on. We were doing every day, and so now schedule's a little busier, but I try to make sure middle of the day that I get to spend time with them and play some of that. And then if I'm by myself, I'm over here. Man, what am I playing? It's gonna sound crazy to say. Any little business tycoon type game, like I'm actually that's what I'm playing
okay,
on the
okay,
side.
yeah, yeah,
My
yeah,
wife's
yeah.
like, "So you do that for real, and then you go do it for play?" It's just it's it's who I
Hey,
am.
yeah, yeah, okay. And so, how long have you been? I guess did you kind of start off doing games first? Were you a streamer first, and then kind of morphed into other things, or
Yeah, that's honestly where it started. Was the gaming that was the original interest. Everything that I bought was for me to live stream video games, and again, it was a hobby because I was already on the road doing stuff, and I was just
Mhm.
like, when I'm home, I can play video games and do what I enjoy outside of the video games anyway. Yeah, let's do it. And honestly, that's how I got heavy into it was starting in that space. So
Mhm.
yeah, the gaming for sure.
And then kind of went, So my oldest son, he's 16,
Hmm.
and I said, "Hey, man, you getting older now, bro. You got to figure out what it is you're gonna do with your life.
Yeah,
What do you want to do?
yeah.
I want to be a gamer, Dad." And so I had to kind of think though, because it ain't like the gamers for back in the day.
Hmm.
And when I say that, like these gamers are making money now. Like they
Oh,
are
bro,
like really, really,
crushing it.
really making, like they're able to afford a family, and I mean they're making money, six
Yep,
figures and above.
yep.
But even with that, it takes work. It ain't just you sit down and you playing the game all day.
Exactly.
And that was one of the things that I explained to him. I was like, "Look, that's cool, bro. All right, so if that's what you want to do, you got to do some research.
Yep.
You want to get a computer, or what kind of computer do you want to get?
Right.
You know what I mean? If you're going to stream, what time of day is best for you to stream?" So
Yep.
just even with that, like the process, like, okay, look, man, you still have, it ain't just all fun and games, literally. You just
Right.
not sitting there all day just playing a game. Like, there's work that goes into it.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh yeah.
so, and what I'm realizing is that anything that we want to do, if we want to go out here and work for whoever 9 to 5,
Yep.
you've got to work.
Oh yeah.
Uh, if you want to be an entrepreneur and you want to be see, to me, when you say entrepreneur,
Hmm.
that means that you're making some money.
Yep. I'm with it.
To me, if it's not, if you're not being an entrepreneur, then what you're doing is a hobby.
Yep. Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you're just doing it just to do it.
Absolutely.
But you've got to put the work in. You've got to be able to understand what it is that you're doing, where you're going, and how to get there. And you got to do the work. And it's not something that you can just kind of sit back because you enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
But there's still work that has to go into. Look at all the singers and rappers or whatever that
Absolutely.
because they enjoyed it, they jumped into it.
Hmm.
But because they didn't do the work, they end up getting robbed. Their
Exactly.
contracts was trash.
Yep.
Once they sang songs and sold millions of records, but because they didn't do the work, they walked out of there with like 250 bucks in their pocket while somebody else
bro.
got all that bread.
Bro, who you telling?
So it's one of them things to where even if you're going to come into the space of entrepreneurship, business
Yeah,
owner, creative, even if you want to be an influencer, it takes you got to put the work in to
oh
understand what it is that you're doing and how to be successful at it.
yeah.
And I think that's the biggest thing. And so for you, and you were doing a gaming thing. What I mean, how well how well did you do at it, or was it a thing to where, uh, well, me and my kids, at least we get to hang out.
Honestly, that's what it was, man. It was literally just a hobby. It was just like, look, this is fun. I wouldn't really, it'd be nice to get some money from it or do something, but I wasn't really looking for it when I first got
Got
in.
it. Right. Right.
Um, and then, I mean, because honestly, when I got into the like creator space for real, when I was
Hmm.
like, hey, I can actually do this, I wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about teaching people to live stream because I was like, I actually get more joy out of it. I understand that I can actually get paid for that
Right.
easier. And then, so the gaming thing is still just a passion, bro. Like, honestly, down the line, you talking 5 years, like, part of that thing on the 5 years is I want to game it. I want a gaming team. And so,
Oh,
put that
okay.
under the media thing and, so I get to play with them a little bit,
Nice.
but I get to
Yeah.
say that I'm in gaming, right?
Right. 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 Yeah, and that's something serious right there, man. Like
Like, bro.
like that whole game thing is
Yeah.
yeah, that game thing is serious. Like these cats are really they're making, and we're talking about young guys. They are
Oh,
really making really good money
yeah.
and able to support themselves and their moms and dads.
Right.
They're
They mind
supporting
that.
the ones that was like, boy, go get a job,
Yeah.
and their job now is playing a game, and they're
Yep.
able to come back and be like, hey, ma, y'all, you want to quit your job? Now I got you.
Yep.
So I guess the opportunities are there.
Oh yeah.
There's opportunities now for people to get out here and do and just create opportunities for themselves.
Yeah.
Um, what would you say as far as with your whole journey? Uh, what were some of the things that you learned? Um, we'll say I'll leave. Well, what are some of the things that you learned on your journey of entrepreneurship, being a creator, and just kind of coming into this space?
Man, honestly, one of the biggest things for me that I had to learn was don't try to make money, if that makes sense.
Mm,
And so, like, again, in the entrepreneur space, I've tried so many different types of businesses, right? The media thing has just been the background that's always there, right? Because again, the DJ and the audio engineer, all that stuff is it's just what I do. It's what I can do in my sleep, right? But I mean, I've jumped out there and tried, some of the multi-level marketing businesses, and I've tried to launch. I did a digital marketing business for a little bit, and what I realized is just because you can doesn't mean you should.
mm,
And so, did I make money doing the marketing thing? Yeah, but it wasn't the passion wasn't there. I didn't wake up like, yo, let's do this. Man, now these deals, I mean, this stuff, it's a lot of work. But honestly, I wake up like, yo, let's go get some people paid doing what they love. Let me have this, these conversations that we get to have like now, man. Like this is amazing. If I was doing something else, would I be able to even have time to have this conversation with you? I'm
mm.
out, working two jobs trying
Right, right,
to
right,
trying to
right.
support the fam,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just because you can doesn't mean that you should.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, because listen, there's a lot of things that I've done
Yeah.
because I had the ability to do them, but because I didn't have the passion,
Hmm.
I probably only did it for a couple of weeks, even if that.
Yeah.
I mean, and that explains it. Like, just because you may have the skill set to do it, doesn't necessarily mean, you know.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's something right there, man.
Bro,
Um,
that was the thing the other day I saw that was talking about burnout, right?
mm,
And it was like you don't burn out. You're not burning out from what it is that you're doing. You're burning out because you don't have the right reason for doing it. People come to me like, bro, you go hard, like, you up all the time, you doing 5 hours. And I'm like, look, it's not for everybody, number one, but number two, it's because I actually love what I do. And so I don't need a day off from it because this is what I do. When I was doing the church thing, like I was there every Sunday. I
Mm.
was there. Is there a Wednesday service? Is there a Saturday service? I'm there because the production and making it, that level and bringing people there, like that's what was inside of me. Everybody else was like, "Oh man, I can only do one a month, or I can only do
Right,
this," and it's like,
right.
it's cool. I'm not knocking you, but I'm saying that then that's not your passion.
Yeah, because your passion is gonna. That's one of them things. Your passion is gonna make you get up when everybody else is asleep,
Absolutely.
or that passion is gonna keep you awake when everybody else is asleep. You know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
there's things that I'm passionate about,
Mhm.
and I know because if it hits me,
Yeah.
I'm up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm up. I ain't going to sleep because it's in my head, and somehow I got to get it out.
Yeah.
Um, or but the passion of something, and and I tell people this a lot, man. Like, even with jobs,
Mhm.
well, I can go do this and I can go do that. At the end of the day, I don't even. It doesn't even matter how much money you make,
Yeah.
because if it's something that you don't love to do, it's gonna be a job, and you're gonna be ready to get a day off, quick, fast, in a hurry, regardless of how much money you make.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
You're looking for. You calling in sick as much as you can. You know what I
Right.
mean? And
Yeah.
you're making the money,
Yeah.
but because it's not your passion, it's not
Yeah,
your
man.
passion. It doesn't drive you.
Mm.
And
Absolutely.
if it doesn't drive you, then you're going to sleep.
Oh, all day.
You know, and I think that's really what it boils down to. And so even for you,
Mhm.
how many things did you do? How many things have you done before you got to that place to where you were able to, one, realize your passion, but then two, get in position to where you're able to do what you do.
Mhm.
Uh, eh, you're able to do what you do because of your passion. So you're working in the field where you're passionate at.
Yeah. Man, that list long, man. I laugh when I used to make my resume, and this is when I was still in my 20s, and I used to get my dad to proofread it, and he just look at me like, "Man, you gotta cut some of this stuff off because they gonna be like, you can't even keep a job." I'm like, "It ain't
Right,
that I
right,
can't keep
right.
it. I just didn't like it."
Yeah,
Man, I
yeah.
think I've had 19 jobs in my adult life
Wow.
just because that was it. Like I just would go and be like, "Yeah, this ain't it."
Mm,
And I mean, dude, I've driven for Uber, I've driven for Lyft, I've done was it Instacart,
mm,
I've done like that was the one thing like people were like, when stuff happens, they're like, man, the risk that you take to do your business, and I'm like, to me, it's risky to not
mm,
because it all falls down today. Black tie media folds up and it don't work, whatever reason, right? I can go out there and do Instacart again. Because guess what? I can go out there and get $25 doing Instacart while everybody else complaining about how they don't give you
right,
insurance.
right, right,
And like so there's a hustle that it doesn't matter what's in front of me, I'm gonna do it. It's just that, like you said, I happen to finally figure the thing that I can wake up and I'll do it every single day. And I don't get bored of it. I do it when I'm playing a game. It's the game
right.
it's the game that I'm playing. And I mean it took a while because I wanted it to be something else
Mm, mm, mm,
because I wanted it to be, when I first DJ, I wasn't like, oh, I want to be a wedding DJ, right? I'm like, I want to be the dude on the stage. Drake up there. I'm the dude behind Drake making the making the
yeah.
party go. I'm in the club. I'm DJ Envy on the radio station
Mm,
doing all this. And so that doesn't pan out the way you want. I mean, I did a tour when I did some when I was doing like in the Christian hip hop game and all that. So I got a little tour in there, and there's still stuff that I wish I'd have did.
mm. Well, who'd you tour with?
So there's a guy, a Christian hip hop artist named Mr. Dell. He
Oh, holy,
actually,
holy South.
see, oh,
Listen, man. Listen. So let me tell you. Let me
I
tell you
love
my Mister.
that.
I've got a Mister Dell story.
Okay.
And it's funny.
Yeah.
I was doing. I was never a rapper.
Yeah.
Never. But I did management.
Okay.
And so I did management for some cats here in VA.
Okay.
And so one year we took a trip down to Atlanta for the Holy Hip Hop Awards.
Okay.
And this was our first time ever going to this award show.
Yeah.
And at the award show was Canton Jones
Oh yeah.
and Mr. Dell.
Yep.
And so they had at that time I think they had a mixtape out or something.
Yeah.
And bruh, that's the first time we as a squad
Yeah.
saw that whole. I mean, and it was down in Atlanta at Earthlink Live,
Oh yeah.
and we were all standing there with our mouths wide open, just watching the crowd, watching the people, watching the kids. Like we had never seen anything of that magnitude at the time.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, listen, I got a whole bunch of stories,
Yeah.
but I'll just stop at that one.
Bro, that's so funny. And like, look, I'm gonna tell you irony, right? This is irony. Um, what happened was, and I told you I was in Virginia, and so we used to go over in Fredericksburg.
Mm,
And so what happened was he got booked at the church that we were going to at the time.
okay.
And and so I was there, and I was like, they didn't really need me. They didn't need me to DJ. He was bringing all his own people, all that. And it was funny how it worked out was that night I ended up DJing up in Maryland somewhere. And I was like, man, this is horrible. I should go back because I really wanted to see the show.
Mm,
And so they were like, nah, I'll stay. I told these people I'd be here. I wasn't getting paid because I was supposed to be getting like half the door and it was just
mm,
a flop. And
mm,
so I stayed. I ended up missing the show. They ended up asking some guy there to just play music. They were like, hey, his DJ couldn't come. Can you just play music? And of course, I'm like, oh, are you for real? Like, I could have been there and been the DJ in that
right,
instance.
right.
Man, mess around. My wife she knew the dude that did it wasn't a DJ. And so she ends up at the show. She talks to him after the show and was like, hey, I just want you to know my husband actually was DJing somewhere else, but he really wanted to be here for the show. He's a DJ. So cool. End up meeting him. He wanted to meet me the next day, met him. And it was kind of those like, okay, cool, you're a DJ. Yeah, it'd be dope. We should do that.
Mm, mm.
Hit me up, shoot it to the email. And so I'm hitting the email. I'm like, man, ain't nobody
Yeah,
responding.
that's
Ain't
the
nobody responding.
Hollywood talk.
Yeah, so I'm like,
Mm,
all right, cool. Finally, man, I was on I happened to like I just wasn't working. I wasn't working a regular job at the time, for whatever reason. And so finally hit him up and I'm like, I found some number, called them, and I was like, hey, look, you told me to hit you up. I'm just trying to see, look, if you don't want me to be it, it's cool. It is what it is. I understand. He's like, well, we got a show tomorrow in Memphis, some award show. He was like, you want to come DJ it for us? I said, tomorrow. And I'm looking at the map. It's 14-hour
I'm
drive,
about to say, yeah, man, yeah.
bro.
Jeez.
It's the morning of a Friday. He's like, yeah, it's tomorrow. You want to come? It's for you. You got it. I'll be there, bro. I jumped in the car, drove 14 hours. My dad happened to not be working at the time too. He's like, all right, cool. I ride with you. We rode down there. Man, rest was history. Got to do that. Got to go down there a couple more times. Did some things in Atlanta with them, and it was the experience that I was looking for. You know what I mean?
Mm, mm.
In the DJ thing. And again, it wasn't, it's not arenas, but we still talking 1,000 people out
Oh
there,
yeah, yeah,
which
man.
is
Yeah,
they ain't nothing.
yes. And look, man, and at that time, during that time, Mr. Dell was heavy. Like he was him and Canton Jones.
Yeah. Oh man,
They,
they was Christian hip hop. Like,
yes, they were killing it at that time, man.
yeah,
And I did some bookings here in Virginia and shows, and I did manage, some of those things.
yeah,
But I remember when Mr. Dell would come through, like he would come through with about 20, 30 dudes.
bro,
Like he was always coming
bro.
deep. And I was always trying to figure out, well, bruh, you only charge for so much. How in the world you are gonna be like MC Hammer after a while? You gotta take care of all these dudes, man.
Yo,
But yeah, I remember those days, man.
that's
That's
crazy.
I'm gonna tell you. So it's and I say this, and I'm finding myself saying this more and more every
Yeah,
time I'm sitting down and having some conversation with people.
yeah,
6 degrees of separation.
yeah. Crazy, right?
I mean, literally, and I'm finding that out like more and more
Yeah,
when I'm meeting people and we're having these conversations, and then we start when we kind of start talking, and it's funny because a lot of times people think, if I mention this say this artist name,
Yeah.
nobody's really gonna know who he is.
Yeah,
So
because you
just
heard, yeah, that was the way I
right,
was
you
going
know
to
what I
say. I was like,
mean?
this is it. And you're
Right,
like,
just
no,
this guy, yeah, guy he's a DJ for. So, but it's wild, man. It's really really crazy how you find that these circles, man, are really
bro.
getting smaller and smaller and smaller. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? That's wild. But look, so quick question. So was your
Yep.
name DJ Mastermind back then too?
Was it at that time? I can't remember if at that time it was because it started out. So it used to the company used to be Mastermind Entertainment,
Okay.
and I actually used to I tried to be cool, right? I thought I used to call myself DJ M, and of course everybody like your name Chris. Like what? Who is the M? And it was stand for Don't Judge Me.
Okay. All
So in
right.
my head, I'm like, oh, this is creative. Like it's gonna be dope. And when you think it's not as cool as you think it
Oh
is.
man.
And
Okay.
so as time went on, we changed the company name, and I was like, well, I'll just make the M Mastermind. Everybody already know it,
Right.
so
Right.
it just and
Right.
so that's how I kind of fell into that.
Right. Don't
I used to
judge
think it
me.
was the coolest though. I was like, they were like, what's the M stand for? No, it's the
Oh
whole thing. You got to say
man.
it all together.
Jeez, man. Okay, hey, bro. Look, whatever worked. If it worked for you. Um,
Hey,
but look, man. So want to do this.
yep,
We kind of do this right before we wrap up the show. Highs and lows.
yep.
So out of all of the things that you've done and
Hmm.
still doing, what was your highest high and your lowest low in this whole
Mm.
creative space, entrepreneur space, um, being a business owner? What are those takeaways? Your highest high and your lowest low, and you can do them in whatever order you want to.
Ooh, man, on the business side, yeah, this is gonna be crazy. Honestly, one of the biggest highs right now, as far as the business side, is gonna be, the project I'm working on right now with the talent management, brand management.
Got it.
It was an idea that I had, and the person that I was talking to, I was just having a regular conversation. I wasn't pitching.
Mm.
I wasn't even asking them to be a part of it. And they were like, "That's amazing. Where do we sign up?" And I'm like, "What? I didn't sell
Wow.
anything. Like, what do we?"
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah.
and it was the point that I've realized we were talking about passion earlier, and it was like it was the passion that I had for what I was talking about
Mm-hmm.
and how I wanted to help people. Because you were talking about the music earlier and how bad the deals were, and that's how this all started. Was me saying, "Hey, creators, I don't want them to end up like the music was." Where you get
Mm.
nickel and dime, the people you really walk away with 3% of what you did, right? I was
Right,
like,
right.
what if I could help them, show them to the brand deals, and then I take a smaller percent,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a split ownership almost thing where you own this. I'm not taking it from you.
Right,
I'm
right,
showing
right.
you the way and taking my fee on the back. So that's probably a good high right there, man.
Mm.
Man, he said the low.
What's the low? What's the low?
Ooh.
And the reason why I do this
Mhm.
is because people think it's all roses.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? Like when they see people that are halfway successful, decent, whatever you want to call it,
yeah,
they don't realize and understand what it took for somebody to get to that place.
yeah,
You know what I mean? What could have happened? What did happen? What almost happened?
yeah,
And so I want them to be able to gauge and understand. Like you're not always going. It's not always going to be. It's not always going to be that, man. Like
yeah,
there's levels to it.
yep, yeah. That's crazy. Honestly, man, saying it like that. What I've been married 14 years, right? I think about 10 of those years out of that 14, we've actually lived with other people.
Wow.
And that's hard because that was like, we got married, we got a place. But then I tried this thing, ain't had no money. We got broke. Now we gotta go live with somebody. And it happened. It wasn't like we just lived for 10 straight years, right? It was like we jumped out there. Here goes another idea. Let me go try this thing. Boom, it fails.
Mm.
We broke again. We gotta go live somewhere. And man, like I said, out of 14 years of being married, I think it was like 10 of those we've had to live with other people, family or something like that. And so, man, it's and that ain't easy. You know what I mean? You
Right,
grown.
right, Right.
We
Yeah.
kids. I got 4 kids. Like that's not easy.
Right.
Um,
Right.
and so honestly, that's probably the lowest low is that. And that's the thing. Honestly, that's the thing that drives us now is that fear. And people, oh, you don't fear. And I'm like, but it's a slight fear that you need. And it's the never do I want to be in that position again.
And what? And so with that,
Hmm.
your wife,
Yeah.
how does she handle, or how did she handle, like because y'all are still married,
Yeah.
and even with the having to live with someone else or whatever or
Yeah.
whatever. How did she handle it, and how does she handle it now? Like, so what you're doing now, is it one of them things to where she's like, "Oh, here you go again. Let me go and get some boxes," or is it a thing to where she's all in
Yeah.
and she's kind of like, "Go, babe."
Now for sure is that it's the second. In the beginning, yeah, it was rough because you get married, you thinking like I'm gonna get my spot, we gonna
Right,
be good,
right.
and like you said, though she knew,
Mm,
she knew, but there's still that small PC that like, well, maybe he'll be regular,
mm, mm,
like
mm,
maybe he'll get a job and
mm, mm,
PTO and all that,
mm,
and so in the beginning it was rough, man, it was, and again, like I said, living with other people is rough anyway.
mm.
Nonetheless, somebody's parents, right?
Got it.
Whether it's, we live with her parents for a little bit, we live with my mom for a little bit. And so, just all those personalities, adult personalities in one place, they just don't mesh.
Right.
And so it was rough. And and it's that. And it's to the point where she walked in and was just like, look, it is what it is now.
Mm,
We gonna rise, like this family is gonna rise or fall on your back.
mm,
I can't go out here and carry what you meant to carry. And so I'll play my role and whatever you need, I got you. And so that's honestly when it hit that point is really when like it was like, all right, full steam ahead, let's go.
mm.
Because you need that. I mean, especially in a marriage or a partnership, like you
Right.
need
Right.
to have somebody supportive of you. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's nothing like getting that pat on the back,
Yeah,
and it's nothing like getting that pat on the back, regardless.
yeah,
When I think the worst thing in the world is when you're down, and then your partner, bust you in the back of the head. You know what I mean? Like
kicking you
yo,
while you're on the
yeah,
ground. I
like
told you. I
yo,
told you.
right. But then, at the same time, man, just having that support system, because
Yeah,
a lot of times, man, when because there's things that I've done,
yeah,
uh, where I was like, man, I can't do this again.
yeah,
I can't do this again. And then my wife was like, look, get up, man. This
yeah.
this is what you're built for this.
Right.
You know what I mean? So come on, get up,
Yeah.
and shake it off. We'll figure it out.
Yep.
And you'll be back at it again. And she was right. I was back at it again.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times when that's how you're wired,
Yeah.
it's almost like it's nothing you can do about it.
Oh man.
You know what I mean? Because you're
All day.
wired that way.
All
But I
day.
but I think the key to it is
Hmm.
learning all that you can,
Yep.
and once again, it's those relationships, to having those people in your corner, the ones that you can talk to and listen to,
Yep.
that will be able to guide you and be like, hey, hold on, bro. Slow down. Right
Yep.
here, just pump the brakes just a little bit.
Yeah.
Don't go full steam. Take your foot off the gas just a little bit. Let's do this so that way, you keep your relationship intact.
Yeah.
You keep your home intact.
Yep.
You know what I mean? You don't have, you every time you move to a place, your wife ain't keeping empty boxes just in case.
Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So, but that's good, man. Well, look, bro, I appreciate you, man. What I'll do is I'll definitely I'll post your link up, man, so people can reach you.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I already know people want to know about them brand deals. We talking about money. We talking about money and free stuff.
Yep. Yep.
So people want to know about that. So I'll make sure we get your information out there so that people can they can reach out to you and get some more information. And then on top of that, excuse me, next week We got your man coming through,
Hey, bro.
popcorn guy.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Hopefully we can get some samples for it before we get on the show. Cause
Hey, bro.
I'm trying to be on the show munching, man. I'm trying to be eating some popcorn, spilling all over the place. He trying to talk, I'm spitting popcorn all over. You know, I'm trying to have that conversation with him. But and that was, you know, once again, this is you know, somebody that you're working with.
Yep.
But we'll have him on next week. Just had a conversation. He's an entrepreneur. He's got his own popcorn business. So we're gonna
Yep.
talk to him. But anything, man. If you ever need anything, bro, you got something you working on, you want to put it out, let me know.
For sure.
You know, I already know, man. You got your own network. You got your
Hey,
own
bro.
thing, man.
You
But
part of that network now, so.
hey, man, I appreciate it. Once again, man, I appreciate you taking time, man, and hanging out with us. And just, you know, you're an entrepreneur, man. So I know time is money, and it's
Hey.
very important. But I appreciate you, man, taking some time out and spending it with us this evening.
Hey, for sure, bro. Thanks for having me, man.
Hey,
It's a pleasure.
oh,
Good convo.
indeed,
That
indeed,
6 degrees of conversation.
it's
The 6 degrees of
crazy.
separation.
Hey, man, that is wild, bro.
Yeah.
That's wild, and we gonna definitely talk some more about that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, let me see. So I want to make sure. Hold on, because I'm probably hitting buttons here. All right, once again, you guys, it's the Mind Your Business podcast. We're still learning this platform, but I appreciate you guys. I'm JB Harrison. We had DJ Mastermind on with us this evening, and we're powered by Hanging with the Harrisons and the Harrison brand. And we'll catch up with you guys on next Monday. It's the Mind Your Business podcast. I appreciate you.